What does it mean to pursue an eternal purpose, and what does that look like practically? In other words, you might already be a follower of Jesus, or maybe recently accepted him, but what's next? Well, let's find out. So in Colossians, a letter attributed to Paul, it reads, chapter 3, "If you then have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God." Paul then goes on to specify on verse 2, "Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. Put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you." So up until now, we've been given two aspects of pursuing an eternal purpose. Number one being, set your mind on the above. What's heavenly, what's good, what's godly. Number two, put to death your earthly nature, as in, pick up your cross, kill your flesh every day. But before reading us the rest of that chapter, I want to point us to Hebrews 11:16 when it's talking about Old Testament figures that were justified by faith. Verse 16 reads, "But as it is, they desire a better country, that is, a heavenly one. Therefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared for them a city." This verse specifically is talking about setting your mind on the above. "And therefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared for them a city." This verse refers to the first point, which is set your mind on the above. It says that if you put your desire in a better country, that is a heavenly one, if you long for heaven, if you yearn for heaven, you yearn for salvation, God will not be ashamed to be called your God. This is essentially saying that it pleases God when we have an eternal mindset and we're currently preparing for salvation. Now, going back to Colossians chapter 3, what does it mean to put to death your earthly nature? "Put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you, sexual immorality, impurity, passion, evil desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry." It says in verse 7 that in these you too once walked when you were living in them, but now being new creations in Christ Jesus. Verse 8, "But now you must put them all away, anger, wrath, malice, slander, and obscene talk from your mouth." So if we're supposed to put to death our earthly desires and crucify our flesh, what are we supposed to replace that nature with? And verse 12 has that answer alongside many other verses in the Bible. "Put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience." So it turns out to be pretty simple. We are called to be Christ-like on earth while looking up to heaven and being aware that we are not of this world.